Hello everyone. So I wasn't going to record anything till Houdini 21 comes out, but I got bored, so I'm recording this. Okay, so we're going to make like a circuit line pattern in COPS. Okay, so this is going to be the final result. So let's get started, right? So I'll just jump into COPS and I'll just recreate. I recreated it once, so I'll just do it again. So we'll start off with a simple fractal noise. I'll take a fractal noise 3D. If you want it to be tileable, use a standard fractal noise. But in this case, I'll just use this. So what you want to do is a couple of things. Like firstly, get the roughness down to 0. Get the element size to about 0.75. So it's like fairly large. Okay, and then the noise type that we want will be Worley Cellular F2 F1 and set it to Chebyshev. Now just sort of adjust this a bit. So I'm going to lower the center to around 0.2 and then increase the contrast a little and increase the amplitude. So we'll have roughly something like this. Okay, now I need to convert this into like a whole bunch of lines. So what you want to do is take a function node. We could probably try this in another way as well, but I'll do this and then I'll try another thing. So set this to trigonometric, but this itself won't do much. So what you want to do is put a multiply constant in the middle. And this is like your brightness is like a multiplier. So take the brightness up to 100 and you'll get this. Okay, so that's pretty much what we want. And then you can use the shift to sort of adjust this a bit if you want. So I can just get the shift a little lower or higher, like you can just get different, patterns out of that. Okay, so once this is done, take a remap. I'll just adjust this a bit. Okay, so just take this and increase the input min till you just have like, a few lines like that. If you don't want it like this high frequency, we can lower this, like get it to around 70, like that should be fine as well. Yeah, so just like make it hard enough, like make them sharp enough, like that should be good. So the other thing we can try is we can take a remap node and this can also work. Okay, so what we can do is just set the outside range to repeat and then just lower the input min till you start seeing repeats like these. Okay, like get it really low. So we can get it to 0.01. See, and then what you can do is change this to something like that. So this is also, another way that you can do this. Actually, yeah, so either way is fine. Like here we're using like 3 nodes. You can do this with 1. And then the lower you go, the more, high frequency it gets. So we can keep it to like 0.02. That should be fine. Or 1.5 should be okay. Yeah, so we can do this. And then you can just squeeze this in to make it, sharper if you want. Now, the next thing we can do is I want to break up the pattern, right? Like this is all connected. We need like, lines which end somewhere. So duplicate the fractal noise. And then I can just lower this to around, let's say 0.7 and I'll offset it. Offset it any which way you like there's no necessity that it has to be an offset of 1. Just do whatever you want. And what I can do is just adjust this a little. Now take a remap node and just, like squeeze it in till it's, like hard blocks like that. So you can so this will allow you to, we're going to use this to break it up. So if I take this and this and I do a subtract, so this comes in here and that goes in there and there you go. Okay, so you have like lines which sort of end and you can adjust this, like, we can take this, maybe make it slightly bigger and we can adjust see, so this gives you like lines which sort of end in different places. So this looks nice. Okay, so this is one thing. The next thing we want is I want like you have like connectors at the end of every line, so you have like points where they get soldered or whatever. So you want to do something like that. Okay, so what I can do is I just want like a border, I want to generate like a border out of this. So what I can do is I can take this, I'll do a dilate erode, okay, or just do a duplicate of this. Okay, and we can try to adjust it with this itself. So I can just take this, see, and just move it a little further ahead. Yeah, I think that should be fine. And then I can take a subtract, and let's just subtract these two and see what we get. Do a swap foreground background. So the bigger one comes on top, like it has to be this way, right? So this comes in here. So the bigger one goes on top and the smaller one goes below. And then from this guy, I can do a multiply. So just take a multiply and multiply these two. And what you'll get is, see, you'll just get these. Now this itself doesn't look anything great, but we can modify this. So take a dilate erode. Okay, so this will make it like big. But what you want to do is take the soft edge lower and then lower the radius till you start seeing, you know, something like that. Now this isn't perfect, but it's good enough for, you know, what we want. Okay, and then take a slight blur, like apply a blur to this and then remap it. So just take this and adjust it till you have, yeah. And if I take, you know, these two guys and we do a maximum with this and that, see, so you have like, you know, but the thing is, if you look at a circuit line, like this actually has like a hole in the middle. So what I can do is I can take this dilate erode. Okay, I'll just duplicate this. And what I want to do is get this dilate erode like lower still to around like just that much. And then we can adjust the remap and then take a subtract and subtract it from that. See, so you'll get, you know, holes like that. And because it's all procedural, if I take this and I make it like bigger or smaller, see, it all sort of adjusts. I think I need to adjust this a bit more. Take a remap here. Yeah, and because these lines are still a little too soft. So just take them and, you know, like adjust it a bit more. So the lines become sharper. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Oh yeah, that's much better. Yeah, this remap makes a huge difference. Yeah, the second one makes a big difference. Like you can define like how big or small it should be. Yeah, there you go. So if I take this back to around 0.02, that should be good enough. And here we can adjust, like if you have this dilate erode that we had or this remap, and we can sort of play around with this to define like how small they should be, like the holes on top, see, so you can adjust it this way. So, and then we can, if you don't want to use this, we can also use, you know, like this trigonometric thing that we had done, like that will also give me a roughly similar result. So you can pick either one, you know, like both of them are fine. Okay, so this is good. And now what you can do is, this is actually, it's simpler than I, you know, thought it would be. Now, one thing that you can do is, because these lines are too sharp, generally it's got like a slight rounding to it. So what I can do is I can come in here and give it a blur. And what that blur will do is it will help you, like if I look at this point and if I increase it, see, it kind of rounds off a little bit. So don't give it too much of a blur, just a little bit so it looks rounded. There you go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now what I can do is I can just, you know, like make a material out of this. If you want to get different patterns, we can just animate the Z axis, you know, like this will be fine. So what I can do is just do an at time divided by 5. And then I can copy this and duplicate it here. Paste a little reference. So if I press play, you'll get this. So you can just get different patterns out of it. Now let's convert this into a material. So I'm going to take, firstly, I'll take a mono to RGB. So just take a mono to RGB. Let's do one more thing. Let's do a clamp here because I don't think there are negative values, but you know, might as well not take a chance with this. Okay, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to just copy this one because I had good colors over there. So I'll just, you know, use that. Makes my life easier. So it's just green and gold or yellow. So if I just plug this in, see, that's basically what you get. Now, along with this, let's just put in like a preview material. I'll set this to sphere and make divisions of about 60. And let's plug this in. So you'll get that. Now we want to do a few things, which is like, firstly, like these lines should be metallic, and then it should have a little bit of like bump mapping. So the first thing is we need to define like which area will be metallic. So I can just, let's take a null here. I'll call this color, and then I'll take another null, and this one I'll just call it metal, and this can just directly fit into metal. So there you go. Now I also want to adjust the roughness. So let's take a remap, and what we want to do is the gold should be less rough, and then the background should be a little more. So what we'll do is, this should be like, I'll just plug it in and then we'll check it. So this comes into roughness. Yeah, there you go. So we have to flip it. Okay, so what you want to do is like, this has to go higher. Yeah, and then this has to go fairly low. There you go. Okay, so we're getting this. Now, one more thing I can do with this is I can give it like a little bit of noise or something. You know, like I can take a fractal noise and maybe just multiply it on top. You know, so just take a multiply here, and I can just plug that in and like make it really small, so it's like a little grainy like that, and adjust the center and the contrast. You can try to make it RGB so it looks a little more fancier. Yeah, that looks decent. Okay, but along with this, what I would also like is I wanted to have a little bit of dirt or something. So what I can do is I can take a height to ambient occlusion. Okay, so just take this and I will plug in the clamp in there. So you'll get that. Adjust the height scale, lower the radius. Yeah, and actually what we can do is I can take this guy and multiply it with the, like this fractal noise that we have, let's multiply it with the ambient occlusion. Okay, so I'll keep this to mono and we'll do a multiply. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Okay, just sort of adjust it so it's just like a little bit. Okay, or do an add. No, hold on. Take this lower. Yeah, so do an add. Add is better. Yeah, like adjust the contrast. Now that looks nice. So plug that in. That should give me, you know, this. Like we can adjust that, you know, like how much you want. Like a little bit should be fine. Okay, and now lastly, I just want to create like a normal map. So what I'll do is I'll do a blur. So I'll do a slight blur here. So it's a little bit rounded off. And then do a height to normal. And we'll put a null here. And this comes in here. So just take this, plug it into normal. Yeah, and then just come down to normal, then displace and just lower it. There we go. Not too much. And that's it. Like if I gave it like a slight rotation as well. So if I press play, you'll get this. Like we can also check it with like a grid, you know, like I can change this from a sphere to a grid. Yeah, there you go. See. So if you press play, you'll get. And then whatever changes you make, you know, here, you should get different results. So if I just take this and adjust it, see if I adjust the center, or, you know, if I adjust the contrast, okay, I can get more or less lines. If I take this guy and adjust it, see. So that's pretty much it. So that's how you can make circuit lines in COPS.